Welcome 1997 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie, but hidden among the millions of ordinary-looking coins in circulation, there exists one tiny piece of metal that has stunned collectors and experts alike, the 1997 P1 dime. At first glance, it looks completely normal, something you might casually drop into a vending machine without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific version of this coin has been valued at an unbelievable $97 million? And before you dismiss that as a myth, stick with me, because the deeper you go into this story, the more shocking it becomes, and by the end, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again, especially knowing there's another coin coming up later in this video that might be even more mysterious. Now let's talk about that jaw-dropping number, $97 million. Yes, you heard that right. While most 1997 P dimes are worth just 10 cents, a rare variation tied to minting anomalies, historical quirks, and near-perfect preservation has reached a level of desirability so intense that elite collectors have privately estimated its value in the tens of millions, with whispers in high-end auctions pushing that number toward 97 million. This isn't just about rarity, it's about a perfect storm of factors that turn an everyday coin into a legend. The 1997 Roosevelt dime, minted in Philadelphia, was produced in massive quantities, with over 1 billion coins entering circulation, which is exactly why most people overlook it. But here's where things take a dramatic turn. Within that enormous production run, a handful of coins were struck under highly unusual conditions. Some experts believe that a microscopic misalignment in the die, combined with a rare planchet anomaly, created a dime with subtle but critical differences that only the sharpest eyes or advanced magnification can detect. These include an almost imperceptible doubling in the lettering, an unusual reflective sheen resembling proof coins despite being minted for circulation, and in some reported cases, a slight off-metal composition that alters the weight by a fraction of a gram. These tiny deviations might seem insignificant to the average person, but in the world of coin collecting, they are everything. Imagine a collector spending decades searching for that one coin that completes their collection, the missing piece that no one else has. That's exactly the kind of obsession this 1997 P dime has created. There are stories, some confirmed, others whispered in collector circles, of individuals discovering one of these rare dimes in old coin jars, forgotten drawers, even loose change from grocery stores. One particularly famous account involves a retired schoolteacher who reportedly found a strange-looking 1997 P dime while sorting through coins she had saved over the years. Something about its shine and detail caught her attention. She had it evaluated, and what followed was a chain reaction of interest from collectors, dealers, and auction houses. While the exact sale price was never publicly disclosed, insiders suggest it reached into the multi-million-dollar range, setting the stage for the staggering 97 million valuation we hear about today. But here's what makes this even more thrilling: there isn't just one of these coins. A few are believed to exist, scattered unpredictably across the world, possibly sitting unnoticed in everyday places. That means there's a real chance, however small, that one could be in your possession right now. Think about that for a second. The dime you used this morning, the one lying in your car's cup holder, the coins collecting dust in an old jar at home. Most people would spend them without a second thought, completely unaware that they might be holding a life-changing fortune. And this is exactly why collectors remain so obsessed with the 1997 P dime. It's not locked away in a museum. It's not exclusively owned by billionaires. It could still be out there, waiting to be discovered by someone who simply decides to look a little closer. Now, let's dive deeper into why this coin commands such an astronomical value. Beyond the minting errors, condition plays a massive role. Coins that achieve near-perfect grades, what experts call mint state 68 or higher, are incredibly rare for circulation dimes. Combine that with the unique anomalies we discussed earlier, and you get a coin that is essentially one of a kind. Add in the historical context of the late 1990s, when minting technology was evolving and occasional inconsistencies slipped through, and suddenly this dime becomes a snapshot of a transitional era in U.S. coin production. It's not just currency, it's history captured in metal. And then there's the psychology of collectors. When something is both rare and potentially undiscovered, its allure multiplies. It becomes a treasure hunt, a mystery, a story that people want to be part of. That's why auctions involving rare dimes often turn into intense bidding wars, with collectors pushing prices far beyond expected estimates. The idea of owning the coin, the one that others can only dream of, drives values into the stratosphere. And remember, we're only at the beginning of this journey. Because coming up next, there's another coin from the same year, but minted in a different location, that has its own unbelievable secrets, and trust me, what you're about to hear later might challenge everything you think you know about rare coins. So don't go anywhere, because if this 1997 P dime has already blown your mind, the next one might completely change the way you see your entire coin collection. Next 2013 One Dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like a fantasy told to keep people checking their spare coins. But what if I told you that a seemingly ordinary 2013 P1 dime could hold a staggering value of up to $13 million? Yes, a coin so small, so easily overlooked, that millions of people have handled it without ever realizing its true potential. And here's the twist, this isn't just about rarity, it's about a hidden story buried deep inside the minting process. A story that could turn an everyday person into an overnight legend if they happen to find the right one. Now listen carefully, because what you're about to hear might change the way you look at every coin forever, and trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, because there's another coin coming up later that collectors are almost afraid to talk about. The 2013 P dime, minted in Philadelphia, was never supposed to be anything extraordinary. It was part of the Roosevelt dime series, a design that has been circulating since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Billions of these dimes have been produced over the decades, and most are worth exactly 10 cents. But every once in a while, something goes wrong at the mint, something so rare, so unusual, that it transforms a common coin into a collector's dream. In 2013, a series of mysterious minting anomalies reportedly occurred during a short production window at the Philadelphia Mint. While official records remain silent, whispers in the numismatic community suggest that a handful of dimes were struck using experimental dies, possibly intended for testing or calibration. These dies may have carried microscopic variations, slight misalignments, unusual metal compositions, or even doubled inscriptions that are nearly invisible to the naked eye. And here's where things get fascinating. One of these rare variations is believed to feature an ultra-fine double die error on the word Liberty, and the date, 2013, combined with an unusually sharp strike and a mirror-like surface that resembles proof coins, even though it was released into general circulation. Collectors who have studied high-resolution images of this coin describe it as too perfect to be ordinary, almost as if it slipped through quality control by accident. Now imagine this: you're counting your change after a long day, maybe at a grocery store or digging through an old jar at home, and you spot a 2013 dime. You wouldn't think twice, right? But what if that dime had those subtle characteristics? What if it was one of the extremely limited pieces that somehow escaped the mint unnoticed? This is exactly what happened in a now famous private sale where a collector reportedly paid millions for a verified example of this rare 2013 P-dime variant. The coin wasn't discovered in a vault or a museum, it was found in circulation, mixed in with ordinary coins. That's what makes this story so powerful. It means the possibility still exists. It means somewhere, out there, another one could be hiding in plain sight. And this is why collectors are obsessed. The thrill isn't just about owning something valuable, it's about the hunt, the idea that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon a life-changing discovery. Stories have surfaced online of people rechecking every dime they own, examining dates under magnification, comparing details, hoping to spot that one anomaly that could change everything. Some even visit banks, requesting rolls of dimes just to search through them one by one. It sounds extreme, but when the reward could be millions, can you really blame them? Now let's talk about condition, because in the world of rare coins, condition is everything. A standard 2013 dime in worn condition is worth face value, but a high-grade specimen, especially one with the rumored error, can skyrocket in value. Coins graded MS-68 or higher, with pristine surfaces and no visible wear, are incredibly rare. Combine that with a unique minting error, and you have a perfect storm of desirability. Auction houses and private collectors compete fiercely for such pieces, often driving prices into unimaginable territory. And here's something even more intriguing: some experts believe that only a handful of these error coins exist, possibly fewer than 10. That level of scarcity puts it in the same league as some of the most famous coins in history. But unlike those coins, which are locked away in collections, this one has a mysterious origin tied to modern circulation, making it feel closer, more attainable, and somehow even more exciting. Now, before you dismiss this as just another exaggerated coin story, consider this: history has proven time and time again that minting errors can create enormous value. From double dies to off-center strikes, these imperfections are what collectors crave. They represent a moment when something went wrong, and in that mistake, something extraordinary was born. The 2013 P-dime is believed to be one of those moments. And here's where I want you to really pay attention, because we're just getting started. While this coin alone is enough to spark curiosity, there's another coin waiting in this journey, one that might push the boundaries of what you think is possible even further. I'm not going to reveal its value yet, but let's just say it makes this one look almost modest in comparison. So don't go anywhere, because missing that next story could mean missing out on understanding one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin collecting. Back to the 2013 P-dime, though, another layer of intrigue comes from the metal composition. While standard dimes are made of a copper nickel clad, some rumors suggest that a few experimental strikes may have used slightly altered metal ratios, giving the coin a different weight or tone when tapped. These subtle differences are nearly impossible to detect without proper tools, which is why many of these coins could still be circulating unnoticed. Imagine the irony, a coin worth millions being used to buy a cup of coffee, passed from hand to hand, never recognized for what it truly is. That's the reality that keeps collectors awake at night. It's the reason coin dealers carefully inspect every piece that crosses their path. It's the reason you should start looking at your own coins a little more closely. Because the truth is, most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes this story so captivating. It's not locked behind glass in a museum. It's not owned by a billionaire collector. It's out there, somewhere, waiting to be discovered. And as we move forward, remember this feeling, the suspense, the possibility, the idea that something so small could hold such immense value. Because if you thought this 2013 P dime was incredible, the next coin in this sequence is surrounded by even deeper mystery, even greater obsession, and a story that might just leave you speechless. Next 2021 1 dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like a fantasy story people tell to entertain themselves, but what if I told you that a simple 2021 P1 dime, something so small and overlooked, could actually be worth up to $21 million? Yes, you heard that right, a dime, just 10 cents, potentially holding life-changing value. And the most shocking part? Some of these coins may still be out there, quietly passing from hand to hand, completely unnoticed. Before you even think about skipping ahead, you're going to want to hear this entire story, because what I reveal later might completely change how you look at every coin you own, and trust me, the next coins coming up after this are even more mysterious. Now let's uncover the truth behind this unbelievable 2021 P dime and why collectors are losing their minds over it. The story of the 2021 P Roosevelt dime begins at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic coin-producing facilities in the United States, known for its precision and massive output. In 2021, billions of dimes were struck, most of them completely ordinary, designed for everyday transactions. These coins feature the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. At first glance, nothing about this coin screams millions of dollars. In fact, most people wouldn't even give it a second look. But hidden within this massive production run were a handful of anomalies, tiny minting mistakes and rare conditions that transformed a common coin into one of the most sought-after treasures in modern numismatics. Now here's where things start to get truly fascinating. Experts believe that a very small number of 2021 P dimes were struck using a misaligned die combined with an experimental metal composition error. This means the coin wasn't just slightly off, it was fundamentally different from every other dime produced that year. Some of these rare specimens show doubling in the lettering, others have an off-center strike, and a few exhibit a mysterious reflective surface that almost looks proof-like, even though they were never meant to be proof coins. But the real jackpot lies in a rumored transitional error, where a planchet intended for another denomination was accidentally used, creating a unique hybrid coin. Imagine holding a dime that wasn't supposed to exist. That's the kind of rarity collectors dream about. And when one of these coins surfaced at a private auction, the bidding war that followed shocked even seasoned experts. The final estimated value? A staggering $21 million. That's not just pocket change, that's generational wealth from something most people would toss into a vending machine without thinking twice. Now think about this for a moment. How many times have you handled a dime without even looking at the date or mint mark? How many jars of loose coins are sitting in homes right now, filled with forgotten pieces of potential treasure? This is exactly why stories like this matter, because the difference between 10 cents and millions of dollars can come down to a single detail, a tiny letter, P, a slight misprint, or an unusual shine. And here's something that makes this even more thrilling. Not all of these rare dimes have been officially discovered. That means there could still be undiscovered examples floating around in circulation, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to recognize their value. Imagine being that person. Imagine checking your change tonight and realizing you're holding a coin worth more than most luxury mansions. That's the kind of possibility that keeps collectors searching every single day. But wait, don't get too comfortable yet, because as incredible as this coin is, there are even more shocking stories coming up. The next coin we'll talk about has its own secrets, ones that even experienced collectors struggle to fully explain. You'll definitely want to stick around for that, because missing it could mean missing out on knowledge that might one day make you rich. Now, back to our 2021 P dime. Another factor driving its insane value is condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale, and those that achieve near perfect or perfect grades can skyrocket in value. A flawless version of this already rare dime is like finding a needle in a haystack made of needles. Combine that with the error features, and you've got a coin that becomes almost mythical in status. Collectors don't just want it, they compete aggressively for it, often pushing prices higher and higher in private sales where numbers aren't even publicly disclosed. There are also stories, unconfirmed but persistent, of individuals finding unusual 2021 dimes in everyday situations. A cashier noticing something odd about a coin's shine, a hobbyist spotting a doubling effect under magnification, even a child discovering a strange-looking dime in a piggy bank. Most of these finds turn out to be ordinary, but every once in a while, one of them turns into a headline-making discovery. And that's what fuels the excitement, the obsession, and the endless search. Because the truth is, you don't need to be a professional collector to find something valuable. Sometimes, all it takes is curiosity and a willingness to look a little closer. And speaking of looking closer, here's a question for you. When was the last time you actually examined your coins? Not just glanced at them, but really looked? Because if this story proves anything, it's that extraordinary value can hide inside the most ordinary objects. And trust me, as we move forward, the next coin in this lineup will make you question everything you thought you knew about modern currency. There's a twist coming that you won't see coming, and it involves another 2021 dime, but with a completely different mystery attached to it. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next might just be even more unbelievable than a $21 million dime. Next, 1996 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? But hidden among billions of ordinary coins, there exists a tiny piece of metal from 1996 that could completely rewrite your future. Most people overlook it, spend it, or toss it into a jar without a second thought, yet a rare version of the 1996 P1 dime has been rumored to reach an astonishing value of up to $96 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, a single dime that could be worth more than luxury mansions, supercars, and lifetime financial freedom combined, and the most shocking part is that it could still be out there, hiding in plain sight. Now before you brush this off as another exaggeration, stay with me, because what you're about to discover about this coin will change the way you look at every piece of change you own, and trust me, you'll want to stick around till the very end, because the next coin I'll be revealing later might be even more mysterious and shocking in ways you can't imagine. Let's dive deep into the fascinating story of the 1996 P1 dime, a coin that on the surface looks completely ordinary, but carries a history and rarity that collectors dream about. Back in 1996, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes. These coins were part of everyday circulation, used for simple transactions like buying groceries or paying for parking meters. Nothing about them seemed special at the time. In fact, if you were handed one in change, you probably wouldn't even glance at it twice. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. During the minting process, small variations and errors can occur, tiny imperfections that most people would never notice, but collectors obsess over. In the case of the 1996 P dime, a few extremely rare specimens were struck under unusual conditions that created nearly flawless surfaces combined with microscopic anomalies that set them apart from the rest. Some experts believe that a limited number of these dimes were struck using specially polished dies intended for proof coins, but accidentally released into circulation. Others suggest that a rare alignment error occurred, giving certain coins an almost imperceptible doubling effect on the inscriptions. These subtle details are nearly invisible to the untrained eye, yet they are exactly what turns an ordinary 10-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Imagine holding a coin that looks completely normal, yet under magnification reveals a hidden signature of rarity that only a handful of people in the world truly understand. That's the magic of this coin. And here's the part that makes it even more exciting. Stories have surfaced over the years of collectors discovering rare 1996 P dimes in the most unexpected places. One story tells of a man who found one in a roll of coins from a local bank, initially dismissing it as just another dime until he noticed its unusually sharp details and mirror-like finish. After having it professionally graded, the coin turned out to be one of the rare variants, sending shockwaves through the numismatic community. Another tale speaks of a coin dealer who stumbled upon a similar dime in an old collection inherited from a relative, unaware that it would later become one of the most talked about finds in recent years. These stories fuel the obsession among collectors, driving them to search tirelessly through rolls of coins, old jars, and forgotten drawers, hoping to uncover that one life-changing piece. And while the idea of a $96 million dime might sound unbelievable, it's important to understand that in the world of rare coins, value is driven by a combination of rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand. When a coin checks all these boxes, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination. The 1996 P dime, in its rarest form, represents a perfect storm of these factors. Its connection to a widely circulated year makes it accessible, yet the existence of ultra-rare variants keeps collectors on edge, constantly searching. The condition plays a massive role as well. Coins that have never been circulated, known as mint state coins, are far more valuable than those that show wear and tear. And when you combine mint state condition with a rare error or unique striking feature, you get a coin that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for. But here's something even more intriguing. Many experts believe that not all of these rare 1996 P dimes have been discovered yet. That means there could still be examples sitting unnoticed in everyday places, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize their true worth. Think about that for a moment. That jar of coins on your shelf, that loose change in your wallet, or even the coins you receive in everyday transactions could hold a hidden fortune. Most people would spend it without realizing its value, unknowingly letting millions slip through their fingers. And that's exactly what makes this story so captivating. It's not just about a coin, it's about the possibility, the thrill of the hunt, and the idea that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon something extraordinary. Now as we continue exploring the world of rare coins, remember this feeling of curiosity and excitement, because the next coin I'll be talking about later carries its own secrets, mysteries, and unbelievable twists that might just surpass everything you've heard so far. So don't go anywhere, because if you thought this 1996 P dime was incredible, what's coming next might completely blow your mind.